time, the girl answered me back, and I realized it was one of my wife's friends. I asked her friend, let's just call her Jasmine, why she was calling me. She immediately started calling my wife names and said she cheated on me at the party. Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, I'm going to go over a story titled, My Wife Cheated at a Bachelorette Party, Fake Friend Exposed Her. And guys, this story is about a guy who's been with his wife for a number of years, sounds like 6 years, and you're going to see the way he will describe it pretty soon, that he thought he was in the ideal marriage. You know, they had a lot of fun together, things were good, hooking up, all that. Unfortunately, a lot of times when I do these stories, these guys think they have a great thing going, but what's really going on is she's doing things behind the scenes. Probably that's what's keeping her in a good mood, right? And in this story, this wife of his goes to a bachelorette party, and she has a bunch of friends that he doesn't say it, but they are under the category of frenemies. They're her so-called friends, but they're always talking about each other behind each other's back. There's always fights and drama and stuff like that. Ultimately, one night, they got to the bachelorette party, and he gets a call, one of her friends, pretty much revealing that she's cheating with a dancer. And the way this guy handles it, he handles exactly the way any guy should in a situation, because a lot of these stories, they don't. But it's another example, guys, of how these girls' nights, girls' weekends, girls' getaways, bachelorette parties, so much trouble comes from those things. So you got to really question, if your girl is dying so much to do one of those things, you really have to question what's really important to her. Because I've known gals that simply don't want to partake in that stuff because they have their guy, their husband is their top guy in their life. They don't want to do this bachelorette party crap or these girls' weekend crap because they simply realize they don't need that bullshit. So they don't all have to do this. But anyhow, sadly, this type of thing happens all the time, except this guy handles it right. So, getting into it, it says here, my wife, a 34-year-old female, cheated on me back in 2019. I was blindsided and wanted to share because I was told my reaction was a little unhealthy after I was played like some kind of fool. I wanted to understand why some women were so untrustworthy. My wife had showed me she had no loyalty, even though I did what I needed to keep her happy. I'm going to read that one more time. Even though I did what I needed to keep her happy. How many guys watching this right now have been in relationships, marriages, engagements, girlfriends that you could have tried to make her happy, and no matter what you did, you couldn't make her happy? How many? Right now, there's a dude driving in his car from work who's nodding his head. You know what I'm talking about, right? So many guys, you can't make them happy. Me and my wife got married 6 years ago, and we were in a good place from the beginning. So we thought. I worked handling the accounts at my company, and she was a STNA nurse when I met her. A nurse. How many stories have I done about these nurses? We rented a nice house, and we weren't any real debt. We were good at managing our money, so spending wasn't a problem. We communicate easily, worked good as a team, and getting physical at night was easy because she was just gorgeous and kept her looks up anyway. Okay, again, sounds great, right? So far, so good here. But again, maybe they had a good thing going because she was being fulfilled elsewhere to keep her in a good mood. Just a theory. Our family had got along good, and me and her brother Jacob were practically best friends. He worked as the custodian at the hospital she worked at thanks to their mom, and we always looked out for her little brother. My wife was clearly an independent woman. There's a red flag right there. And she could always think for herself. She always had a sense of confidence and demanded respect from me and Jacob. We didn't have any children, but I felt like if we did, she would be a good inspiration. Demanded, huh? I got no problem with anybody, I don't care who it is, man or woman, wanting to be treated with respect. But the way he said that, independent woman and demanded respect, there's just something in there. Plus, that he says she's gorgeous and a nurse. Something doesn't feel right. But the problem was with her was she had toxic friends around her. The way they talked about each other made me feel like they were more like rivals than anything. They would talk about each other all week, but party together and claim they were sisters. Not only that, they would get into terrible arguments, especially when they were drunk. So women don't have friends, they have rivals. Okay, women are super competitive with each other, as if you guys weren't aware of this at this point. Okay, it's like the saying from Al Bundy: don't try to understand women, women understand women, and they hate each other. It's amazing how much shit talking girls do about each other behind each other's backs. And they call each other friends. That's always baffled me, because guys just simply wouldn't put up with this. You don't see any guys walking around frenemies unless they're very feminine guys that like drama. I can't count how many times they had a falling out with each other, and then the next week they would go out on a girls' trip to be on vacation. I was told the girls secretly are in competition with each other, so I thought that was just typical. It could be annoying, but it could just be I would take the good with the bad. I just thought it was normal between the five of them. There's always competition, but the way he describes this, the constant fighting and bickering and 180s and all that stuff, that's not healthy. But remember, guys, I tell you all the time on the other channel, for you relationship guys, pay attention who your girl hangs out with. If she hangs out with a bunch of party girls, they're trashed all the time, and a lot of them are single, and they ride the carousel, they're going to rub off on her, as if she's not already doing that herself. Pay attention. The affair happened when her friend Erica was about to get married. Before the marriage, it was normal to have their wild party, so my wife and her friends left that night to throw Erica the party they planned at the hotel. I knew they were going to be out all night, so I didn't bother waiting up for her. A couple days after the wedding, I was getting ready to hop into the shower that night when I heard my phone ringing in the bedroom. At that time, I wasn't sure if that's what I heard, so I just hopped in the shower. When I came out of the shower, I saw I had 6 missed calls, and they were from the same phone number. This was weird to me, so I didn't call the person back since I didn't know who the person was. When I was in my living room, the number called again, and even though I didn't know the number, I decided to pick it up. When I answered, nobody answered me back at first, and all I could hear was a girl talking to a guy in the background. After saying hello 3 times, I just hung up. After that, they called again, and I immediately picked up the phone number. I'd be at this point like, who the F is this? Seriously. This time the girl answered me back, and I realized it was one of my wife's friends. I asked her friend, let's just call her Jasmine, why she was calling me. She immediately started calling my wife names and said she cheated on me at the party. This had put the real fear in me, but I said she didn't know what she was talking about. He's in denial. Not my wife. Oh, no. We have a great thing going. We have great communication. We're great with money. We hook up all the time. Not my wife. Sadly, yes, his wife. And notice he's being the generous husband, letting her go on those girls' nights and girls' weekends, bachelorette parties, trusting her, and, well, you'll see how she repays his trust. She said she didn't know, and that she had recorded it as proof to show me. I asked her what she was talking about, and she told me everything. She said at Erica's party, they had hired some guys to come there and dance for everybody. Of course they did. Since my wife was extra friendly to one of the guys, he kept coming back to her, and he had crossed the line with her. I couldn't believe what I was hearing, but at the same time, I knew this kind of thing wasn't uncommon. Yeah. Very uncommon. How many stories, guys, have I done that you guys have heard me cover in this channel and the other one about these bachelorette parties and these types of things going on? You know, and obviously the women that do these to their husbands or significant others are horrible, but also these scumbag male dancers that know darn well these gals have husbands, fiancés. They go along with this. So I tell you guys, don't ever knowingly cheat with another dude's wife. It will come back to haunt you one day, because you never know what these guys may do. And by the way, guys, I'm sure you can probably hear it pouring raining here. Of course, when I'm ready to film the video, that's when it starts pouring rain. But we've been having a bad drought here in Massachusetts, just like the rest of the country, so I will take it with open arms. So I'll try to talk loud so you can hear me now, because I got to get this done, because I got to go to the freaking gym afterwards. It says here, after hearing me not say anything for a minute, Jasmine said I wanted the evidence, and she would send it to my phone. I told her to send it to me, and she said to hang up while she got ready to send it. After about 5 minutes, she sent me 4 video files, and when I looked at them, I collapsed on my couch, seeing the proof. I called Jasmine back, and she asked me, did I get it? And while being choked up, I said I did get it. 4 video clips of his wife doing Lord knows what with that guy, and clearly she was so out of it with this girlfriend recording it. And by the way, remember how you mentioned about they're all frenemies, right? Now, either this gal was sending it to the husband out of revenge on his wife, That's a possibility there. Or maybe she just thought that the wife was being a scumbag and she's with a good man here, and how dare she? Who the hell knows? But the point is, she was cheating and this gal was giving her the information. He says, she started calling my wife names again, and I told her she was sorry for how she acted. I asked her why she would do this to somebody she claimed was her sister, and she never gave me a direct answer. Imagine that. She just said my wife and her friends are a bunch of hypocrites and called them fake. I asked how did she get my number, and she reminded me my wife called her from my phone asking directions for her dinner party she had at a restaurant. She said she was done being their friend, and said that Erica was doing some bad things too. Jasmine said I talked to my wife about it, and I told her that she was at another friend's house at the time, but I definitely was. Now the guy has proof, thank the Lord. A lot of these guys, they find proof that their wives or girlfriends do these things, and then they forget to take snapshots or whatever of the proof. Well, he's got the proof on his phone now. What a shame. This guy, he really thought he had a great thing going. But again, she's, remember, what did he say? Very empowered woman, is that what he said? Or very demanding respect, and she's beautiful and all that stuff, and she's a nurse. How many videos have I done about these nurses, huh? After hanging up, I was falling to pieces. I knew I had to confront her. There were 4 full videos of my wife being with another dude. But after that, I didn't know what my wife would be like and how she could do this to me. I never trusted these parties, but I didn't think it could happen to me. You hear that? Didn't trust the parties. His gut was telling him there was something wrong here with these stupid parties, but it would never happen to me. How many guys have said that? I never trusted... I read that part. I don't even get invited to these types of things. When my wife got home, I confronted her as soon as she walked in the door. Good for him. I asked her how she was doing, and she said she was tired, but fine. I told her I never asked her how Erica's party was, and did she have fun. She seemed caught off guard a little, but she said it was fine. Girls and they're fine. It's fine. I told her Jasmine said she had a fun time, and that she even recorded her to show me later. She looked spooked and asked me what I was talking about, and I showed her the videos of her and the guy getting it on that night. First her jaw dropped, then she screamed at what she saw. Screamed like just shrieked, or screamed at him for having this information, or screamed about her friend turning her in. Again, these frenemies, they don't have friends, they have rivals. She begged me not to leave her and said Jasmine was doing this because my wife had replaced her with somebody else to be one of Erica's bridesmaids. Aha! Whether this is true or not, she's still a cheater, so who cares? She said she and Erica got into a big argument about it with her, and Erica uninvited her from the ceremony. When I heard this, I could kind of see why Jasmine was mad, but not to go this far. It doesn't matter if her so-called friend is mad. The wife was still cheating, but notice the deflection. Focus on why the friend would do it, not the actual thing of what the wife was doing with the male dancer. It didn't matter to me because I told her I was getting a divorce, and that's exactly what I did. Good for this guy. Didn't fall for the waterworks, didn't do the marriage counseling bullshit. Right for the divorce. Through the whole divorce, both of our families wanted us to reconcile. I was told even though she shouldn't have done it, it was a special night for them, and I wasn't supposed to have known. What a load of bullshit. That guy anybody that wasn't on his team, wasn't supporting him through this divorce because he had proof that she's hooking up with the male dancer, he should just completely cut out of his life. On his side or her side. You don't need that, guys. Life is too short to surround yourself with people that don't have your back. And clearly, they don't have his back. Special night, my ass. I told them that was supposed to be for the bride, and even if she was, I wouldn't stay with her. I couldn't believe my wife was doing this with the guy, especially in public. Well, mix some alcohol in there, and then you get the real girl. After finally getting divorced, I still couldn't leave the situation alone. I got in touch with the other guys that dance and asked them about getting women. I even asked women. The women said they don't, but no girls who did it for extra money. The guys I asked said they get the girls all the time, especially the bride. Right there, it's confirmed. I've heard this many, many times. I had a friend once who was a bartender, another friend that was a bouncer. They said these girls' nights, especially these bridal parties, whatever, these girls go buck wild. It's crazy. There's a reason the guys don't come along. One guy said when he started, it wasn't like that at first, but the women started wanting it, and it just became normal. When I told my friends this, they said it was unhealthy and I should stop talking to them. I don't know, I guess it was just how I was handling it at the time, but I don't see nothing wrong with it. I just couldn't get those videos out of my head, especially when the guy knew that she'd be secretly being recorded. So this is his way of dealing with it. Everybody has their own ways to cope with problems and situations. Maybe in other people's eyes wasn't the right thing to do, tracking down these dancers and finding out what was going on, what they do, but this guy had to do it for closure, so fine. He says, right now my ex lives in her own apartment close to her job somewhere. I used to see her family once in a while, and they still ask me to forgive her because of the circumstances, but I can't do it. Well, smack to her family. Oh, wait a minute, they're divorced. Fuck off. You didn't have my back? Your piece of trash daughter was doing this to me? We're done. You can go deal with her. Go find another sucker of a husband. I hate to admit it, but Jasmine was right when she said my ex-wife was a fake friend. But apparently her love was fake too. Now she doesn't regret it. Now she don't regret it, I hear. Thank you for reading through all this, and please continue to stay genuine. So there you go, guys. Once again, another story proving what happens at these bachelorette parties and also girls' nights, girls' weekend. And I guarantee you this was not the first time that she was doing this tip. There is no way. This probably happened lots of times, and I'm willing to bet you that same friend that called him up and sent him that information probably knew darn well that she did in the past and kept it quiet before until this friend had a genuine reason to be pissed off at her. Again, no honor amongst thieves. But, and also listening about the toxic friends and paying attention to who your girl hangs out with is so important. Now, real quick, I'm going to do a few comments here. They're always fun. One guy says here, don't know whether I'm more shocked about her cheating on you in such a public setting or about the reaction of everyone when you found out, telling you to take the circumstances into consideration when she cheated on you, as if they are telling you that it's normal to cheat on your partner during a bachelorette party. I wonder if they would all say the same if it would have happened to them. Exactly. I hope that you get tested for STD afterwards and that you are clean. Wish you all the best the way forward. I do wish this guy the best too. This poor guy, but you know what? This guy really, he definitely handled it like a boss. Right then and there, we're done. End of story. And he didn't mention anything like getting screwed over in the divorce or anything like that, but thank the Lord they don't have any kids, so it's relatively smooth. I hope. Another guy says here, I bet your ex effed around all the time, so be glad that you divorced her ass. She and her friends did it all the time. You just got lucky as they had a falling out and Jasmine told you. Birds of a feather flock together, you know. Tell Erica's man he deserves to know just like you. Anyway, yeah, reach out to the other dude who was being cheated on that night. I think this was the groom of the bride. Another one says here, two of the biggest indicators of a woman's propensity to cheat are, number one, a deep-seated need for male validation of her sexual attractiveness, and two, alcoholism or binge alcohol consumption. I used to think prohibition was stupid, and I guess it was. But you can't even imagine how many lives and relationships men are being destroyed by alcohol. Sometimes women will, on girl-only outings, drink to let down their inhibitions to fulfill their unconscious desires. And if they are caught, they can then blame their significant other that they don't remember because they're blackout drunk and they would never cheat when sober. Sounds like your ex was guilty of number one and two. Props to you for taking the hard line on her cheating. Exactly. Most guys would have listened to her bullshit and cry and I was drunk or that type of thing. Guys, she cheats, you end it, end of story. Reach out to a divorce attorney, find out your options, good, bad, or ugly, and end it, because she's going to do it again. And she's going to lose all respect for you to taking her in. And the odds are she's been doing it already before. Even if you got to get a hit in the divorce, even if she gets partial custody of the kids, it's not worth staying in that thing. Better to have a broken family where you can be with the kids and start over than being in a miserable marriage. Mom and dad hate each other's guts and there's no respect. Believe me. And last one, the guy says, hat in hand in front of you, sir. You did what was supposed to be done. I personally would avoid talking to anyone that pleaded for her reconciliation under the pretext of a special night. Far too low morals on their side. Shame on her and them. You're damn right. Anybody, it's one thing if her family was trying to convince him to take her back. I mean, that could be kind of understandable because they're biased. But anybody on his side of the family trying to convince him to give her a second chance because that's just what you do in those nights, that's bullshit. I wouldn't care if his own mother. We ain't talking again. You're either on my side or not. End of story. So, all right, guys, that was it for today. Good one for a Monday afternoon in the rain. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this here, guys. Let me know if you think this guy handled it right. Also, guys, if you come across a good story you'd like to share, by all means, email to me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com, and I'll get to it when I get a chance. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.